Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's active worship. I hope you've been able to have a really restful weekend and you are ready for the week of learning ahead. I'm just going to share my screen with you, so bear with me for a moment. Okay, here we are. We're going to be talking all about Epiphany today. We're going to have to think about how we know the story of Epiphany and to understand what Epiphany celebrates. The word Epiphany comes from the verb to appear. The Feast of Epiphany is celebrating the baby Jesus being seen or appearing to the visitors who had travelled to see him. But who were these visitors? Well, a long time ago, a long way away, there were some wise men studying the stars with their telescopes. One night they saw a very interesting star. Very interesting indeed. Now, stars were used in those days to navigate around the world and find directions to other countries. People studied the stars and predicted the future based on constellations. Much faith was put into the position of the stars and their meanings. These men lived in the East, so they were possibly from Persia, which is now called Iran. Now, the star. The wise men were very clever and understood the religious writings that had been written many years before. These religious writings told them that one day there would be a great star, and the star would mean that a new king had been born. So the men decided to pack up their belongings and follow the star to wherever it led them. Think about the faith and the trust the wise men had, which meant that they actually packed up their belongings to follow a star to somewhere unfamiliar, somewhere that they didn't know. They were so keen to see a new king that they travelled such a long way with no expectations of what they might find when they got there. The journey would have been very long. It is approximately 1,000 miles from Persia to their destination. The wise men probably travelled on camels across deserts and over mountains in very extreme weather. The star led them to the town of Bethlehem in Israel. Now, what difficulties do you think they might have faced on their journey? It would have been really hot. There would have been extremely cold nights. They would have needed to feed their camels, and they would have needed enough food for themselves. And travelling for such a long journey would have made them really tired, so they would be suffering from tiredness as well. The star came to rest over the place where Jesus was, and the wise men brought expensive gifts for him and worshipped the new king. The Bible never mentions how many wise men there were. How many do you think there were? Well, because there were 3 gifts, people often think there must have been 3 wise men. Did you know the wise men are sometimes called the 3 kings because of the expensive gifts they brought? The gifts were, can you name them? Shout them at the screen if you know what they were. That's right, gold, frankincense and myrrh. Now, do you know what these gifts actually were? Gold was a very precious and expensive metal. Now, wise men believed that they were visiting a new king. So they had to take a gift that was fit for a king, and that was precious gold. Frankincense was an expensive sap from an African tree. It would be burnt to release a calming scent. Now this was an unusual gift that they brought, Mary and Joseph, and I doubt that Mary and Joseph would have ever seen it before. Now, the Feast of Epiphany is celebrated in Christian churches, usually on the 6th of January. And we know about this story because the Christian Bible, our holy book, records these stories for us from over 2,000 years ago. Epiphany is also known as Three Kings Day. It seems that the wise men were rich enough to bring special gifts to Jesus, even though it isn't recorded in the Bible. It's possible that the shepherds also brought gifts for Jesus. A well-known Christmas carol has this verse in it. What can I give him, poor as I am? If I were a shepherd, I would bring a lamb. If I were a wise man, I would do my part. Yet what can I give him? Give my heart. Now think about the words from this song. What do you think they mean? Have a little chat to somebody if they're nearby, or have a little think to yourself. What do you think they mean? Okay, let's take a moment for a prayer. Dear Lord, thank you that you wanted both rich and poor to see baby Jesus. Thank you that as we think about Epiphany, we are reminded that every person is important to you. Please help us to use all the gifts that you have given to us. Thank you for all the good things that you give. Amen. Okay, well, thank you for coming to today's act of worship, and I hope that you have a brilliant week of learning ahead. Remember, don't forget to get in touch with your teachers if you need any extra support or if you have any questions, and we look forward to seeing you over this coming week. Enjoy the rest of your day.